We just got a really nice look at Fontaine City and it's simply stunning, so I thought why don't I check every single detail I can see to try and figure out something. This means that today we're analyzing the first teaser trailer about Fontaine. As always, this is a theory video. I will use information available in the game, and in this case in the teaser trailer, but my conclusions and guesses are not to be considered the official lore of the game, unless they are confirmed in the game itself. So let's start with this video, shall we? Fontaine City has a circular shape, and it is built on multiple floors. In my Fontaine video months ago, I speculated that the city was gonna look like Altissia from Final Fantasy XV, and it kinda does. From the teaser we can see at least 3 above ground levels. A lower floor with some shops, but we couldn't see much about it, a middle floor that also has shops and they seem to be important ones, and an upper level that hosts both a water bridge and the infamous courtroom. Then later in the video we also see a whole section in the sewers, so Fontaine should have 4 levels in total. Let's analyze the middle floor. First, on the stairs there's a lot of black stuff that looks like leaves. I guess they don't sweep the place enough? Then there's this strange little building or device that honestly looks like an elevator, guarded by mechanical soldiers. On the ground around it we can also see a lot of leaves, which is starting to look very strange. Next to the elevator, we see a clothing shop called Couture, which in French is something like a tailor's shop, and I guess it serves the same purpose in Fontaine since we see dresses and hats. Next to this building, there's another tall building with a giant mechanical doll as the insignia, called Le Chaux. I think the name is a reference to Georges Auguste Le Chaux, a watchmaker mechanic and inventor from the 19th century. I would guess this is a place where people maybe fix or sell mechanical dolls, which makes me think, could it be that the Catherine series was built in Fontaine? Anyway, this confirms my idea that Fontaine was gonna be steampunk themed, but it wasn't that hard to guess considering the NPCs we've met so far. Then there's a building we can only see from a distance, so we can read the name on the door, but we see the insignia and it looks like a compass rose. Usually that's the Adventurer's Guild symbol, so is Catherine instead a building this time? Then there's a tiny flower shop and opposite to it, something that looks like a music shop called Bertin. Again, this seems to be a reference probably to the 18th century violinist Bertin Quentin. The last building we see has a massive clock on top of it. We can only see half of the name of the shop and I honestly can't decipher it. The first 2 letters are LE, and the third one should be an A, but I can't understand the last one. These are the remaining letters of the alphabet that didn't appear on any other shops, so if you wanna try your luck with this insignia, go for it. Remember though, it's only the first half of the name, there are 4 more letters that we couldn't see. The problem with the alphabet in Fontaine is that although it's the generic alphabet of Devant, it was redesigned in a more elegant way, so it's hard to understand. Anyway, I guess we'll spend some time in this area since the alchemy table is here. As we said before, the guards here seem to be mechanical, like steampunk soldiers, and they seem to go around the city. By the way, what are these supposed to be? If they're dogs, they're extremely elegant and they remind me of the Pokemon Furfrou. About people's clothing, we can see different clothing styles. Some women wear extremely elegant 19th century nobility style dresses, while others wear common dresses. Men, on the other hand, wear clothes that we are very familiar with, since every NPC from Fontaine we've met so far was a man. But there's also this specific man here who looks like a sailor or, better yet, a captain of a ship. Then the scene switches to another part of Fontaine, which should be the upper floor. We see a water bridge with a little ship that is probably going to be a way to travel between sub-areas, especially because the person on the boat looks like the traveler. The ship is powered by some mechanical or elemental power, as we can deduce from the blue lights on the side. Beneath the bridge there's what seems to be the port. The ships, like before, are mechanically powered, which is a first in Genshin Impact since every ship we've seen so far had sails. Well, except for the Wave Rider, but that's a boat, not a ship. What's interesting here are the mountains, which are very sus. They don't look like natural mountains. They seem to have been created from something that impacted in the middle of the lake, where Fontaine City is now, because they are curved outwards. One thing is for certain, the moment Fontaine drops, I'll be on top of that mountain, and I guess there's gonna be a Hydroculus there as well. Moving on, we see another building in the distance, behind the highest mountain, but the bridge doesn't seem to take us there, since it curves to the right, so there has to be something else on that side as well. We know that in Fontaine there's a town called Petrichor, so I guess this bridge may take us there. Lastly, there's something going on to the left. We can kinda see the ruins of an ancient structure and some archways as well. Next scene, and we finally see the courtroom, which seems to be the first thing you get to when you get off the ship from before. Maybe you need to go through the courtroom to be able to go around the city. I really like the style of the courtroom, although those organ pipes on the top are kinda strange. Something tells me that they're gonna play some music when a sentence is delivered, just to remind the people that justice is always served. In my Fontaine video we talked about la terreur, the reign of terror of the French Revolution, which seems to be the main law system in Fontaine, considering that Patrice was arrested just because he was suspected of having wasted money on a fake research, and this is basically the law suspects of the reign of terror in French history. What better way to remind the people of the oppressive law system if not by playing music when a sentence is delivered? In front of the courtroom there's also a huge plaza with fountains and water pools with jets of water, and we can see that people throw mora in the fountain in the middle of the plaza, maybe for a wish or for good luck in the courtroom. Next scene, and we are in the sewers, and it seems they are called Fleuve Cendre, meaning river ash rather than ash river. According to a dictionary though, Cendre can also mean pile of trash, so, you know, a river of trash is technically the definition of the sewers. It seems that people live there since the man on the right is staying in front of a fireplace that looks like a barrel, which would mean that there's a whole caste system in Fontaine, according to which only wealthy people and maybe the nobles live above ground. Another option is that the people who were sentenced as guilty by the courtroom may be sent down here to forced labor. Either way, we know that Fontaine has some kind of problem with the energy system that has yet to be resolved, so considering that these two people here look like they're examining something, this place may be where the problem is somewhat taken care of, which would also explain the name of the place, since you wouldn't really expect a river of ashes or trash in the Hydro nation with its pristine pure waters. Then the fact that the Melusine patrols fearlessly this place alone means that this place may be dangerous, so we may find enemies here to defeat for their drops. In the sewers there's a waypoint next to a ladder, a huge insignia with what seems to be two roses, and a giant grating at the end of the tunnel, which reminds me of movies in which people escape from prison through the sewers. Change of scene, and we are slightly away from Fontaine City, which is now in the background, and we see a broken bridge that once again seems to have been broken by the impact of something in the middle of the lake, since it's elevated away from it. Either dies in the water and we see a whole new world down there. What stood out the most for me are the underwater ruins. We see archways in the distance and a little building with an entrance. This makes me think that there was an ancient civilization there in the beginning, before the water appeared. By the way, please tell me we can catch this specific fish and put it in the Serenity pot because it's so cute. Anyway, the bigger water life forms here, like this strange fish that look a lot like the ones in Kanomiya, and the crabs with shields seem to be enemies because they can attack us. Either is carrying something that probably allows him to breathe underwater, but also attack and create a shield if we counter an attack. I guess this is something that we will get when we touch the Hydro statue, and it will automatically activate when we dive, but we may need to recharge it by attacking these other kinds of crabs. It wouldn't surprise me if in Fontaine the Hydroculus won't increase our stamina but our ability to stay underwater. There are also mechanical devices underwater that will attack us, and they somehow remind me of those kinda useless mechanical enemies in Dragonspine that I've never really understood the meaning of. Lastly, let's talk about the Melusine. In mythology, Melusine is a spirit of fresh water. When Elenas, the king of Albany, decided to marry Presine, a fae, he had to promise he would never enter her room while she was giving birth or bathing her kids. They had triplets, Melusine, Melior, and Palatine, but Elenas didn't keep his promise, so Presine took her 3 daughters and left for the lost Isle of Avalon. There, Melusine found out why they had to leave, and she and her sisters took revenge on their father, by capturing him and locking him inside a mountain. Disappointed, Presine punished her daughters, and from that moment on, Melusine transformed into a serpent from the waist down every Saturday, just like a Lamia. When it comes to Genshin Impact, on the other hand, Melusine is not the name of a character, it's the name of a new race of beings. From what I can tell, they may be something like both the Aranara, created by a god, and the Adepti because they enforce the law on behalf of their god. The only difference is that they live in the city and walk among the people. In the video though, we saw another Melusine on the ship arriving at Fontaine City, so it's hard to know if that Melusine was in charge of the ship or if she was simply traveling on it. So they may have different roles in society, like the one we were introduced to works as a patrolling guard, while other Melusine have different jobs. Like I just said, I'm guessing that they were created by the Hydro Archon. Now which Archon I don't know, but considering that they enforce the law, maybe the current one created them. But there's obviously a chance that they are simply native beings like the Adepti. We also know that in the courtroom there are countless gorgeous maidens, ethereal as the clouds, but the description doesn't really seem to fit the appearance of a Melusine, so there may be yet another species in Fontaine, which means that there may be 3 races of supernatural beings, considering the oceanids as well. So what can we speculate about Fontaine thanks to this teaser? I think that something very important that it's related to the Archon quest is that we will finally get caught and brought to prison. We will be spotted by this specific Melusine from the video and she will see us doing something completely normal from our point of view, but that it's completely illegal in Fontaine. We will have to run from the mechanical guards, but we will be caught. I say that because it would be the easiest way for us to meet the Hydro Archon, since she presides over every single core case just for fun, and having an outlander who can wield multiple elemental powers, so someone who doesn't make sense into that in general, going around and doing illegal stuff in Fontaine should be enough for Fossilor to send us to prison, and this basically confirms what I predicted in my Fontaine video already. I will also guess that someone will help us make an escape, and I would bet on Lily and Lynette. We can also guess what happened to the area where Fontaine lies, because the mountains look like as if they were created from something impacting in the middle of the lake, and because there are traces of an ancient civilization at the bottom of it as well. This could mean that this area probably wasn't a lake in the beginning, and the water was added there by maybe the Hydro Archon, since it's a special kind of water. I guess we'll find a lot about this ancient civilization by exploring the underwater area. Interestingly, the architectural style doesn't seem to be the one that's basically all over Devant, but the archways are somewhat similar to those in Canria, and I also guess the mountains will hold some kind of secret. What's also interesting is how we never even got a glimpse of Celestia in the sky anywhere, which should be strange since it's supposed to be above this area. I've said in a past video that since Celestia is basically a floating island of big rocks, it has to have come from the ground, so a theory could be that it came from where Fontaine now lies, meaning that maybe what happened to the lake was not something impacting but something being extracted from the ground, leaving a crater where an ancient civilization settled down in and millennia later was filled with a special kind of water. I really can't wait for version 4.0 to be released, and I also can't wait to see the teaser trailers in which we will understand the new mechanics of the game, but above all, we will see new places in Fontaine. Don't get me wrong, I loved the desert, probably because one of my all-time favorite games was the original Tomb Raider, so a lot of desert there, but you know, I think we all need a change of scenery, and soon. And that's it, I hope you liked the video. If you did, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, and if you're interested in Genshin Impact Theory videos, consider subscribing. If you want to know when I upload my next video or when I go live here on YouTube, then turn the notification bell on. I will take a short break since I uploaded 3 videos in about a week so far, but if there's something interesting in version 3.8, especially since Alice is the narrator, I will make a video. The same goes for any new teaser trailer about Fontaine, since for Sumeru we got 3 videos, so I'm expecting the same. If I missed something in the teaser trailer, or if you want to share your ideas or bets about Fontaine, tell me in the comment section and we can talk about it together. Obviously, leaks and spoilers are not allowed, be careful about it. Thanks for watching, and until next time, over and out.